Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm going to do another recipe here today of making pierogies. I know everybody's probably had one or two in their life, or maybe it's been a constant thing on your dinner table when you were young or to the present, but I'm going to show you how to make them homemade. Before we get started, if you like this video, put a like up. If you really like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel. So let's get started. I'll tell you what I got going on here. I have 4 cups of all-purpose bleached flour. I've got extra flour over here just for dusting. I got 2 large eggs. I got some salt, and I got 1 cup of water. This is all you're going to need to make the dough. So what we're going to do is we're just going to crack the egg, both eggs. Some people might disagree with how I'm doing this. That's fine, but it's a little bit easier if you just crack the eggs and put them in the water. And then what we'll do is we'll take a fork. We'll just mix these up just like you're scrambling eggs, basically. Very simple. Okay, so we're going to take a pinch of salt, a little salt in there, and just make a little bit of well, pour the egg mixture and the water right in, and we're going to mix it. This is what your dough is going to be once it's done. You just keep mixing it and mixing it. It'll come together. Could be a little bit messy too, so there we go. Now it's coming together. You don't want to over stir this. You don't want to get out of control with it. You just want to kind of mix it all in until it's incorporated, and then we're going to knead it. And we're just gonna turn this right out on the countertop here. You can see it's not all incorporated, but it doesn't have to be. So. Okay. So now it really comes together as you start kneading it. So we're going to let this. There we go. We're just going to let this rest for about 10 minutes. Okay, that's what we're going to do. So we have our ball of dough. We're going to let that rest, so it's going to look somewhat around that. That's about how it's going to look. Now we're going to need more flour as we get going with this. So now is the time at rest. I'm just going to cover it with some saran wrap, and that's it. We're just going to let that rest for 10 minutes. As this rests for 10 minutes, I'm going to start boiling some water. Okay, so the next step is what we're going to do is I have about 4 pounds of potatoes here. It's a lot of potatoes for this particular thing, but what I do is I use them for other things. So this is the base of the filling. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cut some of these up in small cubes. Remember, the smaller you make them, the quicker they're going to cook. So just keep that in mind. So we're just going to continue here. We're going to just cut up the rest of these potatoes, and we're going to bring things to the stove, cover them with just about water, and we're going to boil them until fork tender. So I'll be right back to show you guys that. Okay, so the potatoes are on the stove. Just covered the potatoes with water. It should take probably about 15 minutes, 20 minutes to get these fork tender where they need to be. And then we'll drain them, we'll put them in a bowl, we'll start mashing them, and we'll start adding some ingredients. Okay, so while the potatoes are on the stove, we're going to cut up some onion and garlic because it's going to be onion, garlic, potatoes, and it's going to be cheddar cheese on the inside of it. So we're just gonna cut up some, mince up some garlic. You know, you like it a little bigger, yeah, make it bigger. It's very versatile recipe here. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be, but I got probably 5 cloves of garlic here. But you like more, put more in. Alright. Take care of this last one. Mince this up just a little bit more. All right, so these are gonna get sautéed in a little bit of oil. You're probably wondering why I have 2 knives too, right? I just like to cut garlic with that knife. No rhyme or reason, I guess. So you see, I'm using a red onion. You can use a Spanish onion, a white onion. You can use whatever kind of onions that you want. Like I said, this is very versatile. So, and I'm not getting crazy with how I cut my onion up here. I'm just kind of giving it a little bit of a chop into a mince, and then we'll be on our way. We'll get this stuff in the pan, and we'll get sauteing this. And this will be all part of the filling for our pierogies, which I guarantee you guys this is gonna be fabulous. I don't really eat any other pierogies except for this kind here. Okay, so see, nothing fancy, right? Got our onions and garlic now are cut up. So we'll bring this over, we'll put this in the pan, a little bit of olive oil, and we'll saute this up. But we're going to put the onions in first, do the garlic last, because it's just you don't want the garlic to burn, you don't want it too brown because it gets kind of bitter, so I'm trying to avoid that a little bit. So we'll put this in a couple minutes here, and then we'll throw the garlic in and get those sauteed up. Okay, so I got my oil in the pan. We're going to put the red onions in. Make sure you kind of get that pan a little bit hot. This isn't going to take too long because everything's so minced down. But yeah, a little bit of. I'm not going to season this right now because I'm going to season this when I dump the potatoes and we get it in the pot. So this I'm not going to put any salt and pepper or anything like that. We're just going to let this go for a couple of minutes. I'm doing this in a cast iron pan, so it's not going to be long, but just remember to pull it off the heat because that pan's still hot and you don't want that garlic to burn, like I said. So just a couple minutes, we're going to sweat this out and see what we get. Okay, so the onions are doing good, and now it's time for the garlic. Put the garlic in, let this go a couple minutes. Like I said, you don't want to really brown, you don't want to get this too brown because it lets off garlic will always let off a very, very bitter taste. Okay, so our onions and garlic is done. You see the onions are a little bit more browner, which is exactly how I wanted it, than the garlic. The garlic's still a little bit white, but it is soft. So what we'll do is we'll just take this off the heat and we'll just let it sit for a few minutes. Okay, so the next step here is we have our sauteed garlic and onions. We have a little bit of cream cheese. We also have sour cream, salt and pepper, and a little bit of milk. I'm not going to add a lot of milk to this just because I want it to stay kind of, you know, kind of thick. Not thick, but, you know, the filling has to be, you know, not too loose. So we're just going to add all this to about 4 tablespoons of cream cheese. Not that much. Onions, garlic. We're going to add about 3 tablespoons. My tablespoons are a little big, right? Just because I'm trying to avoid adding too much milk. I will add milk if I have to. I'm just going to do just a pinch of salt, a little bit of pepper to start, and then we're just gonna mix this. Start this out on slow, obviously, because if you don't, it's gonna be all over. Quick taste, and yes, I did change to a new spoon. All right, here we go. That's done. So this is your potatoes. They're firm enough, so when we stuff the pierogies, it holds together really nice. You can freeze these as well if you don't have a lot to do with the potatoes. You can make your pierogies. You can freeze these in servings. I do it all the time. So you can freeze mashed potatoes. I did not use any milk. It was just salt and pepper, sour cream, cream cheese, onions, and garlic, and that's it. What we're gonna do, we let the dough rest for about 10 minutes. So what we're gonna do is I'm working right on my countertop here. You can work on a board, whatever you see fit. Just put some flour down, and we're gonna unwrap the dough. That looks really good too. So it's gonna be sticky. That's just the way it is. Put some flour on the top of this as well. What we're gonna do is we're gonna come over and we're gonna probably cut this in half. I think half will work. And we're just gonna take this other half for right now. We're just gonna put it back in the saran wrap, cover it up, and I'll get going on that in a little bit. Okay, so we have our dough. Roll this out from the center, and if it starts to stick, you just add more flour to it. Pretty simple. You want to take this to about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, this is about what we're looking for, because you got to remember it also you have to fold this to fill up. So, all right, one more. All right, so I'm going to call that just like that. Okay, I think that's good. So you can use a glass, you can use a cutter like you see here, and we're just going to start cutting. Get them as close together as you can. Nothing wrong with using a glass to homemade pierogies. Once you have one of these, you'll never go back to you'll never go back to eating it another way. Okay, so there we go. We have our rounds cut out. And yeah, they'll stick a little bit, just like you see it doing. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. The reason why that's happening is just because I didn't push hard enough on the cutter. That's all. So you have extra dough left over, so we're just gonna take this and put this over and cover this up. All right, so there's your pierogi shells, I guess, if you wanted to say that. Okay, so now we go on to filling these. So to fill these, you take it in your hand. You're probably talking about a tablespoon of filling, and you're just going to take them. Now these mashed potatoes are cold as well. I put those in the refrigerator just to keep them cold. So what you do is just take them and just pull them, and try not to get a whole bunch of potato on the edge so they seal. You'll know when you start boiling these. Okay, so that's it. That's how you make a pierogi. Very simple, very basic. If they don't seal, you can use some water, but you can put some flour on your fingers as well if you want to pull them out a little bit and make sure that they're really sealed. And that's how you make a pierogi. Just got done stuffing all of these, and I got them just sitting on the countertop with some saran wrap, and I got another one just covered with a towel just so they don't dry out. So this is what it wound up to be. It wound up to be 54 pierogies in all. So you know, that's what that dough makes. I'll put all the information down below, so you know, you guys got the recipe and whatnot. So the next thing to do right now is just to take them over to the pot of boiling water, and we're gonna toss them in. Okay, so I put about maybe, I don't know, 10 or so in there. You don't want to really overcrowd it. And what I do is I just stir the water. I don't actually touch the pierogies, just so they don't stick. So that's what I do for that. When these are done, these will float to the top. You can see now they've been boiling for a little bit, just for about maybe 3 minutes or so, and you can see now how they're all coming up to the surface. Once they come up to the surface, I'm just going to let them go, like I said, for another 30 seconds, and then we're going to put them on a cookie sheet, which I have right here, which I also put just some regular vegetable oil. You could put whatever kind of oil you want on it, just so they don't stick after they come out. Okay, so I think that's good. I think that the ones that are on the top, they've been going for about 30 seconds. So we're just gonna take them, and we're just gonna place them on our cookie sheet. Yeah. It's really as easy as that. And this way they won't stick. And we're just gonna keep doing this until they're all done. I'm gonna do a couple more batches, and then I'll show you what I do with these afterwards. We're just gonna do like it's real simple. We're just gonna take it, and we're gonna chop this onion just like this. We're not gonna go too much further with it. There, just like that. That's all. That's how you that's how you do the onion. So that's it for this. I have a pan over on the stove right now, cast iron pan, take you over here so you can see this. Sorry about the focusing or whatever. So I like to do these just in a tad bit of brown butter. We'll turn around and we'll add the onions in. Get these going. And these here, it depends on how you like them. I like them a little bit more done, not so. I don't like it to the tooth, you know, not too. I like to saute these down. And then this is where you're gonna add a little salt and pepper to these just for a little seasoning. Okay, that's that. And then as these cook, we're gonna saute these down, and then we're just gonna add some of these pierogies in. We're gonna add a little crisp to them. See how this works out. I add about, you can add whatever you want, but I don't know, maybe 6 to 8. I think is good for the most part of it. So okay, so there's 8. And we're just going to put a little color on these. So I'm back with you. These are almost done. These look great, they smell great, the onions are getting nice and caramelized. It's in the butter, it smells fantastic. You got a nice crust on these pierogies, are phenomenal. If they taste half as good, which I know they're going to because I don't change the recipe. I'm a firm believer that once you have something down, don't play with it, leave it alone. Once you've taken it to where you want it to be, it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but this is great. I really wish you guys could smell this, but I know you can't. This is fantastic. I'm ready to plate this in just a couple of minutes here. Let's start plating these. This is how I used to have them when I was young, but they were frozen until I started making an awful lot of meals by myself. Had a love for culinary a long time ago. Okay, and that's it. Is homemade pierogies from start to finish.